What's up guys, this is Dot. Welcome to another Haikyu Fly High video. I just wanted to make a quick video to go over both Hirugami and Kuroo, since we have Kuroo coming up in a few days, and then Hirugami we have on banner right now. Basically wanted to do a comparison between the two middle blockers to see which one is worth your pulls and if you should go for them for your account. But first, I want to give a huge thanks to Rohil over at More Rohil Patel, who gave me a shout out in his most recent video. He's another Haikyu Fly High content creator that I've been watching for some time. When I even asked him during one of his streams, how do I even get started? Gave me some great advice and now I'm here. So thanks man for the inspiration. If you're watching this, please, if you haven't done so yet, go check out his channel. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to him, please do so. He has some really insightful videos and he also has a great community going on over there, which I hope to someday build on my channel as well. So if you haven't done so, please subscribe, like the video, and we'll get some more Haikyu Fly High content for you guys. Okay, so let's get on with the video. So starting us off, I'll start with Hirugami. Just gonna go over his skills real quickly here. Increases Hirugami's awareness by 12% when serving. While he's on the court, each time your side performs a block, the blocker gains 1 stack of system. Each stack increases the player's basic stats by 8%, up to 5 stacks, and lasting until your side scores. Each stack also increases Hirugami's basic stats by additional 10%. So with this skill, if you do have any other characters that are block type, say Hoshiumi, or Koganegawa and Futokuchi, all of them have block skills and you will most likely be using them for blocking when Hirugami doesn't have his ultimate available. And when they do block, they get this buff of 8%. So that is a really good skill for those types of players. Alone, even if you don't have it, Hirugami gets an extra 10% on his own, plus the 8% times 5 stacks, so that's what, 40% math. Yeah, that should be a great buff for your team, either whether or not you have a block type player, because Hirugami can take advantage of the buff himself. Okay, number 2, he performs a jump float serve. If this serve is a critical serve, the opponent is forced out of team morale and cannot gain morale for the next one turn. This again is a great skill. This kind of breaks the game in my opinion. It kind of shuts down a certain mechanic, right? And he's the only one that can do this. And this is especially useful for going up against Fukurodani, who relies on team morale. And I know a lot of people, me included, also got Bokuto's UR memory, which will increase the number of touches during your team morale. And what's the point of having your 10 touches if you don't, if he ends it right away, right? So this again is a very good skill to have, because it kind of breaks the game. No, it doesn't break the game, but it overwrites a mechanic in the game. Okay, third skill. When Hirugami is on the court, gains 1 stack of movable block every time the ball crosses the net. Your size block triggers different effects when a movable block reach 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 4 stacks. And then there's something at the end of the turn. So 2 stacks, increase the block power by 20% for 2 net crossings. 3 stacks, increase your side's receive by 20%. 4 stacks, increase the next spike power by 20%. So again, big buffs to the team. Doesn't matter if you're a 2, 3, 4 stacks. Again, these are all really good buffs. And then to top it off at the end of each turn, so when the rally ends, all the stacks are consumed, and for every stack you get +5 attack technique and +5 defense technique for the next rally. That is pretty good buffs. You're getting, if you get the 4 stacks, you get 20%. Plus, in your next rally, you'll be getting whatever stacks you get here, whatever buffs you get here. So he's a really good support unit. And moving on to his ultimate, he does a block of 260 of his block stat and additional 40% if it's a power spike. So if you're using him on or against power teams, This is a really good ultimate to have because it just increases based off of the team and who is hitting. The thing to note about Hirugami is that he does not have any spike skills. He has a serve, he has a block, and then all the buffs from his other 2 skills. That, depending on your team, may or may not be good in terms of that. If you want to pull for him for a defensive unit and a support unit, then by all means, if that makes sense for you, that could work. If you are lacking a spiker, or maybe even a secondary spiker, then Hirugami might not be the best pull for your account at the moment. You probably would want to get another attack type player or someone who could spike more than someone like Hirugami, who can only, not only, but whose main feature or main priority is blocking. Okay, let's look at his skill resonances. So with skill resonance number 2, when the team opponent is in Team Morale Awakening, Hirugami's serve increases his awareness by 20% and grants him 1 stack of the immovable block buff. When your side loses a point, Hirugami gains 1 stack of the immovable block buff and increases his basic stats by 10% for 4 net crossings. When your side scores, the cooldown of immovable Hirugami is reduced by 6 net crossings. So I think this skill resonance is most valuable for the 20% awareness on serve plus the 6 net crossing cooldown of his ult. Like I said, he doesn't have any offensive skills other than the serve. So being able to reduce your cooldown of your block is beneficial for him, just so he has the cooldown or the block ultimate ready for the next rally. And then he has the 20% awareness when serving. This ties into his skill Morale Breaker, which will again force out the other team out of team morale. And you want to crit as much as you can on the serve so that you get this skill triggered. Other than that, he also stacks his buff, immovable block, faster if he has a skill resonance whenever he loses a point. And then it also increases the basic stats by 10% by 4 net crossings as well. So more buffs on this skill. It's a great skill resonance to have. Looking at skill resonance 4, Hirugami's defense technique increases by 20% while he is on the court. When the opponent performs a spike, the spiker gains 1 stack of disruption debuff, reducing the power quick attack stats by 5% for 4 net crossings. If the opponent already has disruption debuff, the cooldown of immovable Hirugami is reduced by 10 net crossings, and your side's defense technique increases by 10% for 4 net crossings. So with this one, I don't think it's as great as this, the second one, but again, it's still a really good upgrade for him if you can get him to skill res 4. He increases his own defense technique by 20%, plus another 10% over here for his whole team. So great support skill for your defense type players, so you can get your blocks and receives more often. Another thing is he reduces his ultimate by 10 net crossings if the opponent spikes with this disruption debuff. So this is very situational because it only lasts 4 net crossings. So if you're facing an opponent that can spam a spike, 2 dupe Ushijima, 6 dupe Bokuto, for example, this will basically allow Hirugami to also spam his ultimate. So you get a stronger buff for both stronger block for both spikes. But other than that, it's It's good, but I don't think it's as worth it as Skill Rest 2. So if you are going to be duping him, Skill Rest 2 should be enough because it does have some really good buffs, plus the cooldown as well, which is really, really good. Another thing I want to go over is the bonds for Hirugami, since it will be something very important that impacts their performances in your games. So assuming that you're going to have Hoshiyumi and he's going to be leveled up to 80, we're going to look at his level 5. Increase Kuroo Hoshiyumi's base stats by 10% and blocks out of your front row players by 10%. At the start of the match, Hoshiyumi gains 1 stack of all-rounder and Hirugami gains 1 stack of movable block. So the second part isn't all that great. It's not bad. It's great. It's okay. Just getting that 1 stack, just so you have that stack ready in terms of Hoshiyumi all-rounder, so that he gets his boost to his next skill, and then Hirugami gains 1 stack of movable block, and again, a movable block increases your basic stats. But the main thing from this bond is increasing Hoshiyumi's base stats by 10%, and then the block stat of your front row players by 10%. So again, if you're running a team that has multiple block type players, this will be beneficial for that, and also increasing Hirugami's own block as well. And if you have Hoshiyumi, obviously at some point they're going to both be in the front, and you get that 10% base stats on Hoshiyumi all time, plus that 10% block for Hoshiyumi whenever they're both in the front. So that's another great synergy bond here that Hirugami provides. Okay, next up, let's go over Kuroo. Starting with skill 1. Increases Kuroo's quick attack stat by 10%. While Kuroo is present, each time the ball crosses the net, increases his block and quick attack stats by 5% up to 5 stacks. So at maximum, level 1, you're hitting 25% block and then 35% quick attack. Thing to note about this is it's just a buff to himself, and the multiplier in terms of attack technique attack skill in general is a little bit higher than Hoshiyumi's, where Hoshiyumi has the 20% to next spike for his movable block. That does work for any character on your team, but in terms of Kuroo, it's just his own block and quick attack stats. That's one thing to consider. Next up, we have a quick attack. Kuroo performs a quick attack spike with 125% of quick attack status power, receives 1 stack of power charge. Each stack of power charge increases this skill's spike power by 5% of the quick attack stat, up to 3 stacks. So 15% at max. So you get 140% of quick attack stat, right? Yes, 140% of quick attack stat at max for his skill. So something again that Hirugami doesn't have is a spike skill. So this is something useful in terms of if you don't have a secondary spiker, or you can use him as another spiker on your team, whereas Hirugami doesn't have a spike skill, so you're only going to be using him for blocking when he's on the court. Looking at his next skill, Conductor, increases Kuroo's block stat by 16%. Level 1 is 14. When Kuroo achieves a perfect block, applies Enrage debuff to opponent's spiker, which reduces their power and quick attack stats by 10%. So the innate 14% block stat is pretty good. I think Hirugami's multiplier is a little bit higher, but this debuff does have a higher multiplier than Hirugami's, which in Hirugami's case is a skill resistance 4 skill, whereas his debuff, Kuroo's debuff, is an innate skill in his base kit. That's pretty good. And another thing to note is that in the description, it doesn't really say how long this lasts. It might be for the whole point. I'm not sure. Probably have to test that, or maybe someone knows. You can comment down below. Whereas Hirugami's Skill Resonance 4 is only for 4 net crossings. So in terms of debuffing, this is a little bit better, and it's included as a base kit, so that's something to be wary of. Okay, his ultimate skill, Reactive Block. Kuroo performs a block with 235% block status power. When the opponent's spiking player is affected by a debuff, increase this block's power by additional 20% of the block stat. So this is also a situational type of skill where you get an extra 20% power. Obviously, it kind of synergizes with his conductor skill, but this only is available when he receives a perfect block. So in that case, it might carry over to the next rally in that case. So just keep that in mind. In my opinion, this is not bad, but I think because you are relying or it benefits based off of a debuff, if you don't have the right team, and let's say he's the only character on your team that actually provides a debuff, it might not be worth it to run on your team. And you would rather have Hirugami instead that actually provides buffs to your team instead. For his skill resonances, let's look at number 2 here. Reduces a quick attack cooldown to 0 net crossings. So it's currently at 6 net crossings, and I don't think he has a skill that reduces this innately. So if you want to get his skill resonance 2 so that he can spam his quick attack, that's not bad. I did it mainly because I run a quick attack team. So when I have no other spikers available, he'll always still be available, which is a pretty good thing in terms of offense. I'll always have someone available, and he's a reliable option as well. Next is skill resonance 4. Conductor skill condition modified. When Kuroo achieves a perfect block, is changed to when Kuroo blocks. So it doesn't have to be a perfect block, and you'll get the debuff either way whenever he blocks. It also increases the block's power by additional 25% of Kuroo's block stat. So whenever he blocks, he'll put a debuff on his opponent rather than just getting a perfect block. That way, they'll probably always be in that debuff state, which means his reactive block actually gets his 20% power all the time. So this is a really good skill resonance for him to have if you can get this far. I think this affects him more as a character rather than Hirugami skill resonance 4, and also this is way more worth it than skill resonance 2. All in all, in terms of Kuroo, he is a great standalone unit. He's a very plug and play type of unit where he buffs himself, provides debuff to the opponent. The thing about him is that he doesn't synergize with anyone specifically at this point in the game. I don't even think so in the future either. But yeah, he has no synergies. If you're missing a middle blocker, you can put him in and he'll do just fine. But in terms of team synergy, he doesn't have the skills to back him up, to back up your team, kind of like what Hirugami has. Okay, so coming back to the question, should you pull Hirugami or Kuroo? I think this relies on a couple things. Number 1, do you have resources for Hirugami right now? You have 7 days left on his banner. If you have the resources, I would say pull him. He, in my opinion, is a better character than Kuroo. He's able to buff your team in many different ways: attack technique, defense technique, receive, block, what else? Power spike, quick attack spike, whatever it is. He has all those buffs available for your team. Whereas Kuroo, he is a character, like I said before, that only buffs himself, and he's a great standalone unit. So he doesn't provide any type of impact for your team if your team is already built. So if you have a team centered around, Oikawa, Ushijima, or maybe a Fukurodani team or an Arizaki team, adding Hirugami to your team will be able to increase that team synergies in terms of his buff, whereas Kuroo doesn't have any team support skills, and he only buffs himself. So he doesn't impact your team in a way that Hirugami would. The other situation, 10%, I would say, of players where they're just starting out, maybe you don't have any UR characters, and maybe it's either going to be Hirugami or Kuroo for your first UR. I would say if you don't have the resources for Hirugami, Kuroo is not going to be a bad pickup for those players. Kuroo can carry himself on a team because he buffs himself. I keep saying that. I keep saying this, but yeah, he buffs himself. And Hirugami really shines if your team is really already synergized. So if you don't have someone like Ushijima, if you don't have someone like Bokuto, or if you don't have someone even like receivers as well, so if you don't have a good libero yet, or even like a Kita or Komori, those types of characters that have received Daichi, his impact is not going to strengthen your team to the fullest extent because your team is not ready to be supported by Hirugami, if that makes sense. So, in my opinion, if you have to choose, I would say Hirugami if you have Kuroo, Hirugami if your team is already built, you're just missing, another UR middle blocker to synergize with and give buffs to the team. If not, if you're just starting out, don't have the resources, Kuroo is not a bad pickup. So one thing I forgot to mention is that Kuroo does have an SP version coming out in the future that overshadows his UR version, though he doesn't come out until like 3 to 5 months from now. That's roughly if we're following the timeline of the other versions. Either way, I still stand by my opinion and advice saying that your Kuroo is not a bad pickup at the moment. Some of you may be deciding if you'd rather skip your Kuroo and save until, SP Kuroo, for example. But again, that's a long time from now. And if you're thinking about it in a perspective where you want a power boost now versus a power boost in the future, I would probably say it's better to go for the power boost now, because who knows how long you'll be playing this game. Will you be playing this game 3 to 5 months from now? No idea. Anything can happen. So if you do think your Kuroo is a good fit for your team at this point in the game, then by all means, I think he's a good pickup. Hirugami, on the other hand, he will get a rebanner as well in the future, so if you do miss him, you can pick him up. He does have more longevity than Kuroo, at least your Kuroo, in my opinion, just because his duo skill with Hoshigami is one of the best in the game. And again, the support buffs are unmatched for a middle blocker until, I guess, these SP comes out. So yeah, if you want to take both of those things into consideration, by all means, do what you will. But I hope this video has helped. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, please like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, we'll get some more Haikyu Fly High stuff out. Thanks again for watching. Peace.